that massive education bill moving forward. So the attention shifts to what's anticipated to be a $9 billion state budget. With the latest on that, I spoke with Quorum Call publisher Shawn Ashley. Shawn, we've been saying you can't have a budget deal until you get the education spending done. But in reality, hasn't work on a budget been ongoing for months now?
Really, the work on the budget began back in December when the Board of Equalization certified the revenue for the first time for the upcoming fiscal year 2024. Lawmakers then began working with their spreadsheets to figure out how they were going to handle this legislative session's budget. And I hear from some of those subcommittee chairmen that they have already worked out the spending plan for the agencies within their subcommittee areas. What we're seeing now are the final details. We know the governor, for example, wants a 1/4 percentage point income tax cut, and it's how you work that into those numbers and make those work that they're trying to figure out. And there are a number of other issues like that they're just trying to piece together here at the end.
Fair to say it's been a good week for Governor Stitt. You got the education deal. He also got a $220 million incentive package to help bring a solar panel manufacturing plant to Oklahoma. What are the details on that?
Well, first of all, what they did was to create a new economic development incentive, the PERFORM Act, which over the course of 10 years could pay up to $180 million to a qualifying company based on their capital expenditures in the state, as well as the number of employees that they hire. Now, these will be incentives that are paid out over time based precisely on reports they file with the Department of Commerce and the Oklahoma Tax Commission to make sure that they're meeting the necessary thresholds. In addition to that, there's money going to the Oklahoma Water Resources Board to improve water and wastewater infrastructure in the Port of Inola in order to make it possible for that company to operate there. So on Wednesday, Governor Stitt signed the 3 bills that bring that economic development and improvement package to fruition.
Shawn, speaking of infrastructure and luring business, where do we stand on the infrastructure deal? The governor wants the legislature to pony up a pretty big chunk of money to finalize or help finalize that deal to bring Panasonic and the battery manufacturing plant to Northeast Oklahoma.
Yes, they're looking at about $245 million in order to make various improvements around the Mid-America Industrial Park that would primarily benefit their efforts in the park. And that is one of those details that is being balanced out in the final negotiations with the budget. Keep in mind, $245 million is roughly equal to the impact of a 1/4 percentage point reduction in the individual income tax. So there is some balancing that has to be done there.
You know, I need to ask because I want to know, where do we stand on the veto overrides? Because, of course, full disclosure, one of them does involve OETA.
Well, the OETA veto, as well as more than 30 other vetoes, really have yet to be acted on by the legislature. The Senate has taken up a number of vetoes of Senate bills, but the House has yet to act on those, and the House has yet to take up any vetoes of the House bills. Veto overrides must begin in the Chamber of Origin. Vetoes of House bills in the House, vetoes of Senate bills in the Senate. The OETA bill was a House bill, and they have yet to take that up. Indications are that they will look at some of those override vetoes in the final week of the regular session, but they're going to have a lot of work to do, so they have to schedule those to move those through each chamber during that final week.
So, in that final week, can a budget deal get done, or is Shawn Ashley predicting overtime on this one?
Lawmakers have already begun a concurrent special session dealing specifically with the budget. Their hope is to be able to get the budget written and passed through both chambers by May 26th. They would leave that special session open so that then the governor only has 5 days to sign or veto the bills. If he vetoes any of the budget bills, their plan is to come back for a 1-day session sometime in June to look at overriding those vetoes. Can they get it done in a week? Certainly. We've seen them do that many times. The question then is how the governor will receive it. We don't have a budget deal yet. There are a lot of loose ends yet to be tied up. So that could make it very hectic in the final week.
It sounds like it. For you perhaps as well. Shawn Ashley, publisher of Quorum Call, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.